This is Dre with Brothers United in Leadership Development, here with another episode of our Build Black Wealth initiative with our incubator program. We're interviewing participants as well as some of our facilitators of our program. So I'm here with the lovely Alexis. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. Let's jump into this interview. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your business and the industry that you're in?
Absolutely. I am born and raised in Seattle, Seattle native. An 80s baby. 80s. So, right? And so when I was growing up, like I had style icons. FloJo was like my favorite, just the nails, the way she dressed, her hair, the jewelry. I mean, I just loved everything about her. Tina Turner, Grace Jones, like those were kind of my style icons. And then I kind of got into cosmetics. I was interested in it. I got hired at the Body Shop when I was 13 and kind of started doing makeup professionally there. And then kind of went off and on. So I did makeup for a while, and then I went to the apparel design program and got into like fashion, kind of studied that more extensively. When I moved to Tacoma, I started doing bridal, so I kind of got that under my belt. So kind of all of my career, I've kind of gone back and forth from cosmetics to clothing and then back again.
Okay. So since you're 13, you've really been like in the industry.
Oh, I was super passionate about it. And I mean, like really, I just used to read the Body Shop catalog and I really wanted the products. And so I'm like, where can I, one, get money to procure said products and also get them at a discount? Right. So I went there with my resume of babysitting experience, and I really think she was trying to play me off. Like she gave me an interview and then was like, I'll call you in a week. And I said, okay. I waited a week and a half and my dad was like, you should call her back. So I followed up and, eventually she was like, okay, come in for a shift. And I came in, but I had read these catalogs for years, so I knew the backstories. This was 93, this was in the beginning of the whole like natural thing. There wasn't a lot of companies that were doing this. And like Anita Roddick was this old hippie lady from the UK that used to like spray fragrance oil on the like store to draw people in. So I was super passionate about the products. And somebody came in and was looking at a product and I was like, oh my gosh, have you tried it? Here, let me like put it on. My manager said, yeah, take that apron off and go in the front of the store. So a salesperson was born.
A quick upgrade, but that's a good skill that your dad taught you too, to follow up.
Yeah, follow up. Gosh.
Sometimes we just like, we'll just wait and hope
he
it
gave
happens.
me a lot of, I don't want to say game, but I mean a lot of kind of structure as far as the etiquette of things. Like phone etiquette, expectations on like leaving a message, those sorts of things that were really automatic. And also like, back in the day, if you called and wanted to talk to your friend, you would have to talk to some adult in the house. Right. And like, they might ask you about like, oh, how are your parents? Or like, how was school? You kind of got to be Johnny on the spot as far as, oh yes, this is Alexis. May I please speak with so-and-so? So, just kind of translate it over to the business.
Those are real life skills though. A lot of, especially nowadays with technology, like a lot of that's kind of a lost art. So it's like really a real deal.
I call businesses all the time and I'm kind of appalled at the answer. I'm like, oh, this is a brick and mortar business. Like,
right. You're not at home.
Oh, okay, all right.
Right. So you kind of already answered this, and I would say it's a yes, but I'm gonna ask you anyways. It sounds like, did you always want to be in that industry? Like, when did that kind of start?
Yeah. No, I always wanted to be in it. I mean, and I kind of got into it through like via design. So I would look at advertisements, I would look at the pictures, I really like interior design. I remember in a Cracker Jack box, like one of the prizes was this like interior, it was like a little book and you could like design the house. When I was a kid, my dad worked at Pay and Pack and like, I don't know if you guys remember, but they had like the kitchens, right? There was like all these different kitchens or all the different bathrooms. And so it was just so fascinating to me that like different colors or different patterns or different whatever could make a totally different space or mood or idea. But I would say, yeah, it's always been in my blood, so to speak.
I grew up behind Pan Pac. That's a South End staple.
Oh man, I just used to go in there all the time. I used to be like, Dad, can I come to work with you? Like, it was just so, I used to, act like, okay, this is, and they were very, I mean, again, kind of 80s, right? So it was like a very green, like hunter green bathroom with like lots of plaid, like they were very committed to the
pink and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what motivates you to continue to do the work that you do, and like you kind of talked a little bit about like why your why is, like, just expand on that a little bit. Like what motivates you and what's your why?
I'm just very passionate about people presenting the way that they want to. I think we either have like special occasions or just kind of how we are in the world, we want to project that a little bit. So I really, I remember clothes not feeling like myself in certain garments and being like, God, I wish I could just, or, when I get big, I'll be able to, this. So for me, I'm really passionate about people finding their voice, their style voice, how they want. And it's like, it's fun. The whole thing is, it's supposed to be fun. Right. I'm not like, I don't strong arm any products. Like, the whole thing is it's supposed to be a fun expression of yourself in a moment, or like, a timeless kind of thing. But whatever, you should still be able to have that.
So trying to give people that experience. And
I tell people all the time, it's fun. And especially in the case of like bridal or a special occasion, a lot of the time, especially in bridal, like that may be the first time that somebody's spent that much on a gown. Right. That may be the first time that somebody's had a gown altered. So I think it's really, really important. And I take it very seriously that I want my clients to have some sort of knowledge after they leave from me. You never get anything altered from me again. If you decide to go to a different alterations person, you should know why it fits this way or why it pulls this way. That's
what's up. So describe your journey, and this is kind of we're talking about towards success or to success, depending on where you're at in your business journey, and like what's the biggest lessons you've learned. You kind of share some even nuggets that your dad taught you and things like that. So this is thinking about your business and being an entrepreneur, like describe your journey to success and what's the biggest lessons learned.
I would say my biggest lesson, it's funny, I actually told myself I wasn't going to tell this story, but I flunked out of design school twice. I think one of the biggest things that taught me, so this particular program, it accepts only in fall, right? So there's fall quarter, winter quarter, spring quarter, and then summer break, and then it's a 2-year program. Mm. So if you fail one of the quarters, you gotta wait till the whole next go round, right? So I had done it the first time around. I didn't take it very seriously. I was kind of like, and I missed, you have to get a 2.0, and I think I hit a 1.8 in my flat pattern making class.
Close, right?
Man, our margin of error in that class was 1/16 of an inch. Mm. So not very much. So I'm like, well, this is what I really want to do. So buckle down. This is God or the ancestors teaching me some humility, right? Like I have some better knowledge about how to do this the next time. And I did. I actually got sick at the end of the quarter, and so I 1.9 this time.
Wow.
And I remember thinking God, do I need to do it again? And then I was looking at, the syllabus or what I'm learning, and I'm like, I don't really want to do any of that shit. To be honest,
right.
I don't need to have the CAD experience and to do all this and all, I was doing an internship at that time, and I was like, this is somebody that I respect greatly, and all the things that she's doing, I know how to do already from the program that I'm doing. She's not doing CAD stuff, and she's very successful. Right. So I think that the biggest lesson that taught me is what are you actually looking for, right? Are you looking for a piece of paper that says this thing? Is that where your validation is? Right. Or are you looking for something to get some actual knowledge? Because then what I did is when I moved to Tacoma, I worked with somebody at the Wedding Bell who had, at that time, 40 years of experience. And she took me under her wing, and she taught me from the beginning to the end how to do everything. Right. So it didn't matter. The piece of paper wasn't what was valuable. It was what my knowledge was. So I think the biggest lesson I've ever gotten is like, you got to cut your losses, man. Like, do you need to pivot? Like, stop.
Right.
Don't just be walking into a wall, man. You might have to pivot a little bit and skew what your focus is just a little bit and see where it takes you. Because, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did what I did.
It's kind of like art. Like, you got to go with the flow. And I've heard this from other folks so I've interviewed. Like, the mentorship is what I'm hearing. It's like you found somebody to kind of mentor you and teach you the game. And I've heard other folks kind of talk about the importance of finding somebody who's in the industry that you're interested in, and
absolutely.
really having this more hands-on training instead of like book or coursework. Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that story. What resources do you think are needed for others in our community that are seeking to be successful in starting a business or organization, et cetera? Like, what resources do you think are really needed?
I really think it's like mentorship. I think that it really is access. I mean, the information is out here. I mean, it's on our phones.
Right.
But it's like, what is it some charlatan that's selling a course that maybe hasn't done these things, right? Is it somebody that actually has that experience and is selling it? Is it somebody that you can trust with their, I think that mentorship, like finding somebody that is more, that's in the industry that you're trying to break into. And, people like talking about themselves, I think. But people, if you are passionate about an industry, you're excited about it. And so if you come in and there's a younger person that's excited about the same thing that you're excited about, and it's something that seamstress, like that's a dying art.
Right.
All of the women that were in the, there's not a lot of like young blood, as it were, that's like coming in that like knows how to sew, because it's not glamorous. Like it's not pretty necessarily. I remember one summer I couldn't, this was back when they had the fingerprint thing I was like, why can't I unlock my phone? It's because my fingerprints were so stabbed with the needles that it would change literally every day. So, I mean, it's not glamorous. We're not sitting here sketching. So I think that, finding somebody that is further along than you in that industry, or even just maybe they're not the whole package, but like they're really good with like paperwork, or they're really good with like Excel, or they're really good with like streamlining things, or they might know everybody.
Right.
Like those are the people like, oh, hey, by the way, this is my new project, and just talking about it. I run my mouth to everybody. Excuse me. Still with this smoke in the air. I talk to everybody. I say, if it comes up in conversation or like, oh, what do you do? But I talk to everybody. I talk about new projects that I'm doing. I'm talking about new things that I'm thinking, new product development. I'm, waiting for this packaging. And you never know. You have people that are like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for that product. Or like, oh my God, I really, my mom was looking for, my mom's friend is getting married and blah, blah, blah. I would say I don't advertise at all. Every single one of my, especially alterations and custom stuff, is all word of mouth. It's all, and I've been working with some of the same people for the last, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, and somebody gave me advice on that too, talking about success or lessons learned, like word of mouth, and your name is your brand. Your brand is your name. If you burn it, then that's going to be word of mouth too. If you do bad business or things like that, it's going to be word of mouth too. And then touching on the mentorship piece, I guess what I would say on that is, everybody being available to mentor the next, because somebody mentored you, so making sure that people are available. And we all know capacity is real, and sometimes folks are. You say we want somebody who's eager. Sometimes people are just like dibbling and dabbling,
right?
And they end up wasting people's time. I've dealt with that before, but still being available and still feeling like that's a key part of what our community needs. That's even where this came from. This Build Black Wealth Initiative was like, really, how do we share information that help be successful, but also others are in those conversations and they can share. We learned a lot just having the space, holding the space to have community, to have conversations around things that we don't normally talk about, and then being able to use the space and being able to learn what folks are doing and being able to contract with you and contract with food vendors and different people through our work was able to expand our branding, expand
Right.
what we do, make
Yeah.
us more efficient in certain areas, but also we're able to move money around to help, to drink the juice that we're serving, so I do think the mentorship is huge.
But I think you also touched on an important part that, like, even if somebody isn't ready necessarily, so, like, yeah, you might have somebody that's kind of dibbling and dabbling or kind of flaky, for lack of a better phrase. I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But I think that part of that mentorship is being like, hey, you're messing up, by the way.
Keep it real.
Yeah, and, like, I had a mentor when I was at the University of Washington, and she was a professor that, like, oh my God, she scared me so much. She, like, listen, if you didn't do the reading, don't go to her class, because she's going to know. She's going to call on you. She's going to ask for you. Anyway, this was the type of person that I wanted to be my mentor, because
Right.
she really didn't pull any punches, and she really didn't care about, like, I don't want to say feelings, but, like, it was very much like, you are asking me for help in this area. These are the help that I'm going to give you in this area, right? And I was late for like our first appointment. Oh my God. She just eviscerated me, but she was very much like, this is not proper, okay?
Right.
You are asking for a favor from me.
Right.
You need something from me. You are not offering anything to me.
Right.
I'm taking time out of my day. I could be doing something else. This is very inappropriate. So what I would like for you to do is think about if you really want me as your mentor, and kind of reevaluate the things that you need to,
Right.
and then we'll talk later. And I was like, but it's the truth.
Right.
And so I think that even if somebody isn't ready, and of course she, I wasn't ready. I was like, I'm really kind of effing off here. Like, I'm not going to waste her time.
Right.
So, but it also, so, like, even though she didn't turn out to be my mentor, I still learned this lesson so that I can potentially not mess up the next one by being, disrespectful to somebody's time, because that's
Right.
what it is.
Right. Yeah, and what I was saying is still being available to mentor, but, like, having those conversations, like putting boundaries around what you're going to accept and not accept. And, you might hurt somebody's feelings, but at the end of the day, like, okay, but you still want to make space for somebody to get the most.
Right.
And you get the most out of your time, because if you're passionate about, if I want to share information, I want somebody
somebody's
who's
just
actually
like-
going to use it. Yeah, I want somebody who's
Like,
actually...
hey, man, come
Yeah,
on.
it's like, I got
Pay
I
attention.
could be taking a nap right now. Like, sleep don't come easy. So, yeah. So, what is, as an entrepreneur, which you are clearly, what is one tip or trick that you've learned that helped you succeed?
Pivoting and running my mouth. I mean, like, really, like, talking to people, I have gotten so much. And even if it's just community and camaraderie, right? Mm-hmm. It might not be somebody that will ever shop with me or buy a product with me, but still the interaction that we're having when I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about, or they're telling me something that they're excited about in that same kind of vein, like it's energy transference, right? So, but yeah, being able to pivot and deciding if something is maybe not for you, or if you need to kind of adjust some things. And I will say that's one of the nice things about being a smaller business, is that you can kind of, okay, this was definitely not working. Let me try to do this whole thing. And,
Right.
I don't want to say the stakes are lower, but, they're not these big blowout events. So you can have kind of a little bit more time to figure out what works.
And that's actually dope, too, because that's in line with what one of our pillars is really building community, building relationships. What I'm hearing you saying between the lines is, really spending time having conversations, regardless if it's going to be a customer or not. You have time and energy to build community, and maybe down the line it may be a partnership or something that you can leverage, or hey, I can connect you with somebody who can help you with this or that. They may be able to connect you. It's really relationship building. I think that's a dying art too. I think sometimes people really get transactional. The way society is capitalism, like we just get transactional, so it doesn't really be relational. So that's a good pointer. What is the best advice that you can give someone? It sounds like you've been doing it since you were 13. What is the best advice you can give somebody to, and as you know, with the incubator program, we have Black-led businesses, nonprofits, organizations, and we wanted to be intentional with that, because a lot of times funding is only for business, or it's only for nonprofits.
Specific types of business,
there's really not a lot of funding for organizations unless they have a fiscal sponsor. So we just wanted to really kind of have a catch-all. So thinking about that, business organization or entrepreneur, whatever it is, like what's some advice that you would give, or the best advice you would give somebody that's just trying to get started and maybe can't get over the hump?
I find that for myself, which is ironic because my line is called Fear is a Liar, but I found myself like fear was keeping me from like just doing it, right? I revised my website 5,000 times. I, changed the design of this, like just do it, figure it out. Launch the website, whatever. Maybe a page link doesn't work. Okay, somebody will tell you, right. Or turn it off, whatever. Just get it out there. I've changed my tags probably 4 times in the 1 year that my ready-to-wear line has been in business, right? At first it was like, okay, I'm writing something on this thing that I printed from and like now they're, branded cards that I have on like safety pins with like linen little ties. I mean, it's a different thing, but like, just do it. You'll figure it out later. Do it.
Yeah. And
perfectionism stops you. Like you want it to be, and like you don't realize that you're using that as a crutch to not like just jump out the window. Just do it.
And sometimes it's balance, right? Because you can't have good without bad. You can't have success without failure. So some things are like you said. Hey, this link doesn't work. Okay, somebody tells me, let me fix it. So it's the only way you're really gonna know and really do it is. Yeah, there's no way to be all the way. I like things polished and
me too.
But it's sometimes it's like we gotta just go.
Oh my God, my website right now makes my eye twitch just thinking about it. Like I sold 2 of these 1-of-1 shirts that I need to take out of the inventory and like whatever. But I mean, it is what it is. Like I'm designing more stuff right now. The website stuff, that's
Let's see. We talked about the advice. Before we jump into the last question. I kind of want to talk because a lot of people don't know, like you design, like you're doing some work for us, you done work for other people. A lot of stuff that people that are out there in the fashion industry, I don't know if you want to share any of the people that you work with or partner with or whatever, but like you're like really getting it in. So, it's like we had some tablecloths that came from a place that we ordered that it was like more work for us to send them back. And I was like, hey, Lex, like, let me pay you to... we could have threw them out or sent them back, could have dealt with it.
No, they're beautiful.
Like, so it's like, hey,
they just needed a little love, man.
So it's like,
a little seam here and there.
Here, let me give you one of the ones that are right and, a table to look at them at, and you knocked it out really quick. So I don't know if that's something that you want to share.
I don't name drop typically. If they want to let people know who I am, just know that I know what I'm doing.
Okay, well, she's super tapped in. So a lot of the clothes that folks are doing, which is dope, Lex put her hands on it, so y'all make sure you tap in, and she's working with us to design some stuff for us, so our team could be out there. We're pretty good with the branding, but
I'm excited for those jackets.
We got to get the swag. We got to take the swag to the next level. Yes. I'm not really the fashion guy. I'm the sweats and t-shirt guy, so take me to the next level.
I love it.
Take me to the next level. So this is an opportunity for you to kind of look directly into the camera and let folks know. This will be in the description as well, but how folks can get in contact with you, your website, the email, however else you want people, social media, however else you want folks to get in contact with you.
Okay, and look here. So probably the best way to get in contact with me would be on Facebook. I'm Alexis White, or The Lady Lex is my business page on there. My website is theladylex.com, and then you can always email me at thesmithwhite@gmail.com.
So that stuff's going to be in the description too, but we always give our people opportunity to share because we know people taking information differently. We're not a monolith, so we try to provide that opportunity. We'll definitely market and make sure we get this pushed out there. So I appreciate you coming to join us.
Thanks for having me.
You did a really good job. High five.
Yes. You guys, I was so nervous.
So once again, this is Dre with Brothers United in Leadership Development, Build, and this is part of our Build Black Wealth initiative. Till next time, peace.
Get informed about your rights as an employee working in the city of Seattle. Check out Build's labor law information at www.build206.com/labor standards today.